The European Union tells the Europeans to prep three-day survival kits amid Russian fears. Hey everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. Well, we've got some war news lined up today. We'll just get into it like we always do. So the European Union is urging residents of its member states, which is roughly 27 different countries, to prepare emergency three-day survival kits as part of a preparedness strategy as tensions with Russia teeter on the edge of conflict. Haja Labib, EU Commissioner on Crisis Management, announced the preparedness strategy on March 26, encouraging EU citizens to have at least 72 hours worth of self-sufficient items. EU citizens will be told to stock up on around a dozen different items, from water to matches, a flashlight, and other basic survival products. Knowing what to do in case of danger, gaming out different scenarios, that's also a way to prevent people from panicking, Labib said. And so now, guys, it's not just France, Germany, the UK telling their people to prepare. It's all of the European Union telling their people to prepare, to be ready for at least 72 hours worth of distress, 72 hours worth of an emergency, which is going to be a lot longer than that. But anyway, nonetheless, now it's EU-wide, not just in localized countries. Then we have this story. Signs that the U.S. is massing B-2 Spirit bombers in Diego Garcia has been going around the internet for the last couple of days. Now, if you don't know, Diego Garcia is essentially a big runway, or a big, I guess you could say, runway / military cargo base out in the middle of the Indian Ocean, not too far from the Middle East. And here's a picture of the island, from the island itself. And as you can see, there's not much room for anything except the runways, the planes, and the equipment on there. So here we go. This is the B-2 stealth bombers seen taking off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. That was this past Tuesday night, a couple nights ago. And now they're down in Diego. So now, in addition to the B-2 stealth bombers and 18 refueling tankers that Hal reported here, he can also report the following: that 7 C-17A Globemaster flights have arrived over the last 3 days or are currently en route to the island. So we had all of these different C-17 flights that originated from Whiteman, Dover Air Force Base, Fairchild Air Force Base, and one from McGuire in New Jersey. Well, some of them are for B-2 support, others are for tanker support, and the other ones, they don't know. So more ancillary information, this is from Tuesday night, has been obtained, which now reveals an explicit time frame for military action. The military base at Diego Garcia has very limited space, and believe it or not, there have to be reservations for aircraft parking spaces at that base. I imagine they do. The United States has secured parking spaces for the B-2 stealth until May 1st. So whatever's going to be done with these stealth bombers must necessarily take place between now and May 1st. That's 5 weeks. And this base, like I said, is in the Indian Ocean, and the aircraft at that base, especially stealth bombers, are now in range for Yemen and Iran. Here's Diego Garcia. As you can see, it's a very strategic location to get almost anywhere you want to with your planes into the Middle East or into Central Asia, what have you. So 3,008 miles to Iran, probably about the same to Yemen. And so they may start using these bombers against Yemen. We'll see. There's also been B-52s reported landing there. So we'll just go through this a little bit, scroll down. One of the B-2s had to stop over in Hawaii for an in-flight emergency, and now I guess it's back in the air and going to Diego Garcia. Tell you what, I'll just put this up and let you guys read through it on your own. But in spite of all these aircraft going there, not everyone's taking it seriously. Over here at winterwatch.com, Scott Ritter posted that there were 7 B-2s deployed to Diego Garcia, numerous C-17 flights into Diego Garcia, 10 KC-135 tankers in Diego Garcia right now. An Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine is in the Indian Ocean, which is where Diego Garcia is. And there are those who still argue Iran should not negotiate to reduce its nuclear profile. Well, they've been saying Iran has had nukes ever since the Shah left in 1979. Just saying. But according to Dr. Resistance here, is this a joke? Iran is 5 times bigger than Iraq, and with more mountains than Afghanistan and Tibet combined. Iran has hundreds of missile cities. The moment they see the B-2 heading to Iran, not only would Iran shoot them down, but they will missile strike every U.S. base. Yes, they will. And so that's why I think, in my opinion, this deployment is just a huge show of force, showing Iran what could be used against them, because they're not really hiding it. Not when it's all over the media, especially. So, not that this administration is good at keeping secret documents, right? I mean, their plans for the attacks on Yemen were leaked out via, what was it, the Signal app? And then, as usual, the politicians are playing the blame game back and forth, pointing at one another. Well, he did it. No, she did it. No, he did it. I mean, back and forth we go, right? Unreal. And then there are some that say the Civil War is here in the United States, as we have multiple events going on, from conservatives being swatted. In other words, people are calling, you know, calling in false reports and getting them swatted, and having SWAT teams actually deploy to people's homes, to attacks against Tesla owners, as we know, is ongoing. It's all happening across America as Democratic politicians are telling supporters to fight in the streets. Yeah, like they have been for years now. Anyway, before the November presidential election, we saw multiple articles from a variety of outlets regarding the potential of a second civil war, with the NPR citing a researcher convinced that the American government is not adequately prepared for the event. Well, no, the implosion of America / Mystery Babylon has been planned for a long time. It's in Bible prophecy. Go read Revelation 18 if you want to see the future of America, and the beginning of 19, Revelation 19. But anyway, the New Yorker stated in November of 2024, before the election, that many now believe the U.S. could descend into political violence. Some are joining survivalist communities, canning food, and buying guns. Well, that's been going on for a long time. In July 2024, American Military News stated that a new study shows that the concerns of a potential U.S. civil war has spread to America's neighbors, as Canada considers the possibility of a civil war in the United States as an under-anticipated disruption. Yeah, just as they get ready to become the 51st state, right? So they'll be in it with us. And not to mention, tensions are boiling in Canada as well, as the Royal Canadian Mounted Police said that they're on the verge of a civil war in Canada as well. People have had enough. They can't afford to live. And neither can we here in America. So in August 2024, another civil war in America, comparing the social psychology of the United States of the 1850s to today, it offers an abstract which states the following. Scholars warn that another American Civil War is increasingly plausible. If still unlikely, professional political commentators express greater concerns. This study examines the likelihood of another U.S. Civil War by comparing perspectives of the 1850s with those of today, by using a negative social capital framework as the analytic lens. The analysis finds striking similarities between the two periods. Yet civil war is a relatively rare phenomenon in developed countries, and the analysis also points to contemporary mitigating examples. At least for the foreseeable future, more likely our trajectory is moving toward other types of civil unrest, just short of civil war, including ongoing civil strife, additional insurrections, decades-long inter-regional political gridlock causing widespread administrative dysfunction, and even a failure to relinquish power. Well, we've had all that going on for a while now. That's nothing new. Just saying. The negative social psychology has already had an extraordinary impact on public administration and is unlikely to decrease in the near term. It may yet increase exponentially as it did in the 1860s. So they summarized the study by stating that overall, the authors found deep similarities, such as the demonization of opponents, ideological narrowing of news sources, and the successive champions of polarization. So they say that the likelihood of a hot civil war is still low. Based on the comparative study, barring a trigger event, they find the likelihood of other types of social and political upheaval to be very high for the foreseeable future. I'll let you read the rest on your own. That part was boring enough, right? Let's just say it as it is. The media and the politicians have been setting the American people against each other since the founding of the country, but it's been exponentially worse over the past, I would say, 2 decades. as we've seen more and more divisions, in families and social media, everywhere. Divide and conquer. That's the name of the game here. And they're succeeding. They're succeeding. And I wouldn't doubt that AI and the mind control weapons that they use against us every single day have something to do with it. Speaking of which, I've got a story about that very thing on don'tspeaknews.com right now. I put it up this morning, and it's called Murders by Mind Control. And I can't read the rest of it here on YouTube, so I'll let you look at it for yourselves. I just put it up here a little bit ago. I'll put the link in the description or in the comments as always. I'll pin them up there. And that will be it for now, guys. There's so much more I could report, but it's just, there's too much. I could never cover it all. Not in a 24-hour period. Nope. Wouldn't be possible. So it will be it for now. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.